Welcome to another Deff Head Dice tutorial. This time we're going to be kit bashing the Baron Sathonyx. One of the most loved characters in 40k. Especially when he's in his Seerstar. So, 7th edition, Seerstars are still around. So that means the Baron's still around and there's no kit for him. So let's build one. So to do this kit you need this tutorial, you need the Dark Eldar Hellions and the Dark Elves Black Ark Corsairs. So most of what you're going to need is from the Dark Eldar Hellions kit. I've got the parts numbers there for the one I used for this tutorial. The Dark Elves Black Ark Corsairs, they don't number their sprues. It must be an older sprue. So I took a picture and you can see which ones I use. But to be honest, most of them are interchangeable. It's just personal taste. But I want to show you the ones I actually used. I also have listed in the bottom right there an alternative build, which we're going to do, where I used one extra piece from an old 3rd edition starter box set. But again, some of this stuff is interchangeable. You can use the pieces you want. This is just the suggestions I did for the video. Part 1, assembly of the easy stuff. So first thing we did is built the flyer, and we're using plastic cement for this. Cleaned up all the parts. It was super simple to build. Make sure that when you're using plastic cement, you give it that 30 seconds to a minute before actually putting the pieces together. That way the glue has enough time to seep into the plastic and work its magic, because it's basically just melting the two pieces together. This, like a lot of the newer Games Workshop kits, this thing just went together so beautifully. It's one of those things, if I played Dark Eldar, I don't know if these are any good in the game, but if I played Dark Eldar, I'd probably play them because I love the look of them. So now we're building the legs. Now in the picture in the Dark Eldar Codex, the Baron has bare feet, but I chose him wearing shoes. Okay, part 2, torso. So this is where it gets a little tricky and you have to pull out the X-Acto knife. So basically what we're going to do is take the front torso from the Hellion, leave it as is, and we're going to take the back cape piece and basically carve into it or trim it down so that the front torso will fit. So the torso is almost flush except that little bump. So we got to fit it into that. We got to carve out where the lines are. So we basically have to carve space so the torso will fit in there. So good idea whenever using an X-Acto knife, always cut away from yourself whenever possible. And if you see me cutting towards myself, it's the old do as I say, not as I do. But so basically what I did is just kept carving away very carefully. Trying to get that back cape flush to the front torso piece. So I cut some of it away, I'll bring the piece up, check it, cut it down again a little bit more. It took about, this whole piece probably took about 5 minutes. It wasn't that long at all. I was kind of surprised. But you just keep going back. The tricky part for me, I found, was getting the bottom piece where you've got it coming out a little bit on the front torso, but managed to carve everything through and get it cut down. I did also cut off the collar because my Baron wasn't going to have his collar popped. I had a problem with that. But as you can see, there's a little bit of line or a little bit of space in between there, but for what I'm doing here, I wasn't hoping to use any green stuff, and I was able to get away with it. So now we're going to assemble the rest of the body, again with plastic cement. After I got this glued together, I actually used a little bit of, and they did this off camera, I used a little bit of not green stuff, sorry, blue tack, and dry fitted the pieces to get the positioning I wanted, because you want to try to get as dynamic a positioning as possible. So I tried different variations and see which one I liked. The head is from the Corsair set, and it looks nice because it matches almost exactly the picture in the Dark Eldar Codex, so it worked really well. My only complaint, and if I was on a green stuff this, I'd take off the top knot of his hair and sculpt the hair going backwards rather than being in his face, but for what we're doing here, it looks fine. So once you've got a position you're happy with, glue both sides, give it that a little bit of time. I, of course, am being impatient and not doing that on camera. And sort of just keep fiddling with it until you get the position you like. Nice thing about using the two-armed sword piece is that when you just bend it, it fits on perfectly around the cape, which makes it really easy. So, and that again, just keep messing around with it until you're happy with the position, as dynamic as you like, as you find you want it. And there we go. There's the finished model. So here's the alternative build. So this is my test model. This is what I did first to see if I could actually do this. And so what I did, I actually primed it as well. So what I'm doing, I'm taking the left arm, and a splinter from an old 3rd edition Dark Elder starter box, and the only one-armed sword that it only has the one hand hanging onto it. So, and I've positioned the head in such a way where it's looking down the gun as he's shooting, and then the arm in the back. If I had to pick one, I really like this one better than the one we just did, but this one does require a piece outside of the boxes that I was recommending. So, but again, there's a lot of pieces. You can modify them as you want. You can choose. So you really should be able to get like 5 of these out of here. So if you got friends that play the Baron, or there just isn't enough people playing the Baron in your area, you can make them for them and then even sell them to them. So thank you very much for watching. I'm hoping to continue to do new videos as we go along. You can always follow me on Twitter. I update there as well, or at DeffHeadDice, which is the blog. And just out of curiosity, comment below if you guys use Tumblr, because I follow a few people on Tumblr and quite enjoy it, but I'm not sure who else does, if it's worth putting stuff there, if it's better to put the blog. I'm trying to avoid starting a Facebook page because I don't do enough of my own personal one. My family gives me a hard time about it. If I start doing a whole bunch of hobby stuff on Facebook, I'm sure that I'll get no end of harassment from all my family members and such. So let me know where you want to see stuff, if you even want to see more of this kind of stuff. But there will be more videos. I'm hoping to get some bat wraps done shortly, and a couple painting tutorials too. So if you haven't already, click on subscribe and like and share this video, and hopefully you'll see some more soon.